Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought deleting your YouTube stream while I'm covering it, your YouTube sermon while I'm covering it was going to shut me up, I got bad news. I'm going max. I'm taking Charlie's advice, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking his advice. I am going max, and I will not yield for the normal chicanery of that you guys think you're used to. Now, I will say, let me say tonight, gosh, if you think you're going to stop. This hoodie matches my mood. Matches my mood. What happened Friday was so unbelievable that this hoodie matches my mood. This is how I feel inside. This is how I feel in my soul. You know how priests wear red vestments on Pentecost because it's like a blaze of fire? That's how I feel inside, and that's what is coming out on the outside. That is the selection today for the Adidas Hoodie of the Week. This is not sponsored by Adidas, ladies and gentlemen. This is free advertising for the greatest hoodie cut ever made. Someone actually emailed me like, hey, those do look like sharp hoodies. Really, where'd you get them? And I sent them a link. I said, here you go. They got like 12 colors. Pick one. There's only a couple I haven't bought. Anyway, all right, let me start over. I want to start tonight where actually, you know what I thought about doing? I'll do my monologue in a second. Here's what I thought about doing tonight. I seriously thought about this. I thought about opening this show like Rob opens his sermons. Just telling you what I did. Hey, you know, this weekend I went hiking, just kind of wandered around a little bit, checked out this new Persian restaurant over off of West End over in Belmead. It was great food. You know, they got a walnut pomegranate molasses stew. It was fantastic. Charlie this, Charlie that. I'm Charlie's pastor. I thought about doing a whole show that way, but I'm not going to do that. I just think it's too much. Maybe one day. I'm too mad. I'm just too mad. So let me start tonight where I tried to go last week before Rob McCoy's sermon got pulled while we were in the middle of the stream. Not surprisingly, you might not know this, but I do. Rob McCoy is back in Israel as we speak. So good morning, Mr. McCoy, or whatever time it is over there. I believe he was there when the sermon got pulled last week. I do. I believe he was there when the sermon got pulled last week. And I want to finish that discussion tonight because I think that sermon in particular is one of the most incriminating pieces of evidence that exists related to why Charlie's no longer live. I assume that's why it got pulled in the middle of the show. And if you will grant me, if I have earned your trust, that you will give me a few minutes to clear my head and bring you up to speed on a very important topic, I'll get back to that sermon in sufficient detail to explain why I believe it is so incriminating. I promise you. I've had several people call, including people I know you've heard of and talked to. And they said, hey, why was that sermon so valuable? I will explain it in thorough detail. I hope you'll agree with me by the end of this. So the next few minutes isn't a diversion, it's an explanation. One of the primary ways humans are different from animals is how we communicate. It's the way we communicate. Dogs bark, cats meow, horses neigh, donkeys bray. Humans can do all of those things, but we can also manipulate our lips and our tongues and vary the air pressure in our throats to create words. If, for example, I wanted you to hand me an apple, I could point and grunt, or I could form words. Will you please hand me the apple? A critical component of this unique ability of humans to communicate using words is that we have a common understanding of the meaning of those words. It's perhaps the most critical component of communication. It's often overlooked because we take it for granted. We take for granted that words have commonly understood meanings. Take, for example, the word conspiracy. Strictly defined, it's a secret agreement by two or more people to do something bad or illegal. It's commonly used in court cases all over America every single day that courthouses are open. Someone might be charged with a conspiracy to defraud, conspiracy to commit arson, conspiracy to end someone's life. There's nothing wrong with the word conspiracy. It's clearly defined, and that clear definition is commonly accepted by all. Therefore, a person who believes in conspiracies is a person who believes that two or more people might form secret agreements to do things that are bad or illegal. In other words, a person who believes in conspiracies is a normal person who believes completely normal and regular things. Do the feds believe in conspiracies when they charge mobsters with forming secret agreements to whack rival gangs? Do the local police believe in conspiracies when they charge two local ne'er-do-wells with conspiring to sell drugs or rob a liquor store? And take another unrelated word. Theory. Theory, the word theory as defined, is a formal statement of the rules on which a subject of study is based. That's one definition. Another definition, ideas that are suggested to explain a fact or event. Or, more generally, an opinion or an explanation of why something happened. Ideas that are suggested to explain a fact or event, an opinion or an explanation. That's what theory is, strictly defined. And here's a neat fact. Putting those two words together, conspiracy and theory, doesn't change their meaning. If a conspiracy is just an agreement by multiple people to do something bad, and a theory is just an explanation for an event, then a conspiracy theory is an explanation of an event that involves multiple people. That's it. There's nothing inherently insane about a conspiracy theory. It doesn't make you look like a kook or a nut. It just means you don't accept that a single person is responsible for an event, and you have an opinion that it might be two or more people responsible. That's the strict definition of a conspiracy theory. And if you disagree with someone's conspiracy theory, your reaction should not be to shame that person, to shut down that person, or otherwise try to stop that person from speaking. Just offer a better explanation. If your explanation truly is better, it likely will win the day. No silencing or ad hominem attacks should be necessary. By the way, this also works in reverse. If words have particular meanings, then a word applied to someone as a label should have a clear and unmistakable meaning. In other words, if you call someone a racist or an anti-Semite, there should be zero doubt about what it is you believe that person is doing or saying. Unfortunately, those two labels and other labels have been thrown so many times at people for so many things, they cease to have any meaning whatsoever. And it's as unfortunate as it is tragic. Because there should be a label for people who truly believe one race is superior to others, or that one or more races is inferior to others. There should be a label for people who think it's appropriate to discriminate based solely on someone's DNA. We should have a word that labels those people. In fact, we need a word, precisely because a majority of the planet finds those beliefs detestable. The words racist and racism or anti-Semite and anti-Semitism won't cut it. They've been used so many times, they have no meaning left in them. They're without power. They have no meaning. I've come across this phenomenon in another context. In my uniquely unenviable quest to document, preserve, and consume as many Rob McCoy sermons as I can before they're deleted from YouTube and other platforms, I've come across a word he uses to describe a theological view he opposes. And I don't intend to solve the issue tonight. Truthfully, I don't even want to delve into the issue much tonight, except to point out two things. First, he's using words incorrectly, and he's doing it to defame his theological and political opponents. That's dishonest. Number two, he's misusing these words in a way that is now putting lives at risk. The word he's misusing the most is the word replacement. We all know, or at least we think we know, what the common definition of the word replacement is. It means to substitute one item for another. To replace an empty milk jug is just to put another one in its place. To replace a broken TV is to put a new one in its place. It's hard to imagine misusing such a commonly understood word and concept, but nothing is too difficult if you're determined to malign your opponents and carry water for your backers. To that end, I'll say it clearly. Rob McCoy is misusing the word replacement. Specifically, it's the word replacement as used in the phrase replacement theology. Again, words have meaning. If replacement means what the world commonly accepts it to mean, substitution, then what Rob is calling replacement theology doesn't exist, not in any mainstream Christian tradition. It doesn't exist in the Catholic Church, it doesn't exist in the Orthodox Church, and it doesn't exist in any mainline or historic Protestant church. None of them teach that Christianity has replaced Israel. None of them. Not Catholicism, not Orthodoxy, not major mainline Protestantism. None. The phrase replacement theology is slanderous attack. That's all it is. What Rob McCoy calls replacement theology actually is called fulfillment theology. He knows this. And I believe he's using the phrase replacement theology because fulfillment theology doesn't fit his political agenda. Fulfillment theology doesn't demonize Christians, and that seems to be his goal. There's simply no other rational explanation I can find on why he insists on mischaracterizing the position of the vast majority of Christians on earth. Fulfillment theology is simply this: God had a single plan of salvation from the beginning of creation. That is the historic teaching of all Christians. God had a single plan of salvation from the beginning of creation. That plan of salvation included gathering and leading a select group of people from among all the other people, the Hebrews, the descendants of Abraham through Isaac and later Jacob. The descendants of Jacob, they're called Israelites. That's it. Mainstream Christian teaching that Rob McCoy slanderously calls replacement theology is this: the fulfillment of God's plan of salvation from the beginning of time. From before he even created humans, the plan of salvation included Jesus as the promised Messiah. I'm not here to debate whether that's accurate. I'm just telling you that is the definition of Christianity all over the world. Everywhere you go. God's plan of salvation from the beginning of time included Jesus as the promised Messiah. God's promise to Abraham that flowed through Isaac and Jacob was fulfilled by Christ, as God intended from before humans were made. In other words, the mainline Christian teaching that was first articulated by Jesus, later taught by Peter and the apostles, and that's been passed down until today, is that Jesus is the fulfillment of the promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Period. End of story. That is fulfillment theology. It is not replacement theology. I know it, you know it, and Rob McCoy, if he doesn't know it, he should know it. Because the entire Christian world, except for Rob McCoy and a few other troublemakers who are maligning Christians and beating this drum, they all know it too. Jesus said it clearly. I have not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. Rob McCoy's entire Christian message. He tells this story that he's out there on the front lines, single-handedly saving the modern state of Israel by identifying and defeating those rascals out there they're pushing replacement theology. Oh, did I mention Charlie Kirk's name yet? If not, I'm his pastor, Rob McCoy, by the book. It's a lie. It's not true. Nobody's pushing it. But that doesn't stop Rob McCoy from saying it over and over and over. At least when you use the words properly, no one's pushing it. And again, back where we started, words have to have meaning. They have to have meaning. This is a high-stakes game. This is global politics he's inserted himself in, Rob McCoy. This is a theater that involves nuclear arms pointed all over the globe. Rob McCoy and those working at TPUSA have gotten really wealthy playing this game. Don't believe me? Look at Rob McCoy's real estate holdings. It's a game built on a lie. And the game has officially turned deadly. I'll start tonight where we tried to go Friday. I was discussing a Rob McCoy sermon from July 27 when it got pulled while I was in the middle of discussing it live on Friday's show. It was a shocking moment. I believe it was a turning point in this entire investigation. The sermon, and I believe I'm right about this, is one of the most incriminating pieces of evidence that exists in the Charlie Kirk case. I believe that's why it got pulled while I was covering it. With that said, let me turn to two particular places in the sermon, but first, before we start, I know that the audio version of this sermon is available on other platforms. I really wanted to play the video via YouTube for liability and copyright reasons, and let me explain what I mean by that. So much content on YouTube is just people playing other people's YouTube videos and commenting about them. I mean, this is a tremendous industry. You pull up a video, you watch it, you stop it every now and then, and you say something about it. YouTube knows that. And everybody who monetizes their content on YouTube knows that. You put it up, and people are probably going to comment on it. I get notices of all my clips that are getting commented on. It's just part of the game. And because of that, when you want to do the commentary, if you can pull it from YouTube, it's very safe. Very safe. You start going to other platforms, and it's not as safe. You go to Apple Podcasts, I don't know what Apple will do. It's interesting to note, though, this version was pulled from not only YouTube, but I have evidence it was also pulled from Rumble, believe it or not. I'll show you that real quick. Let me show you this, in case you don't believe me. This is the Godspeak page at Rumble. That sermon, at least on YouTube, was right here between these two, between Romans 7 and Romans 12. That was where the sermon was on YouTube. You'll notice this is Rumble over here. That's also where it was on Rumble, I believe, and it's no longer there even on Rumble. Why, do you ask, might they have pulled that? because one of the things I was going to point out was something that had to be seen. It was something that had to be seen, not just something that could be heard. Now, I'm going to read the transcript tonight because it's only 2 short passages I want to read. And frankly, I do it better than Rob. I do it better than Rob. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But I'm going back to it. So that's number 1. Number 2, second thing I want to cover before I get started. While searching for any version of this sermon that survived the robbining, where it got robbed from YouTube, I found the most interesting sermon by another pastor in the Calvary Chapel. You'll recognize the title. Do you see that title? Has God cast away his people? That was the title of the Rob McCoy sermon. Has God cast away his people? And look, it's Romans 1 and the following. Those are the verses that someone used. They say someone downloaded. I know that. We have a downloaded copy. I'm just cautious about using non-YouTube content on YouTube. That's it. And I can do it without it because you've got me. But I think this is absolutely hilarious because this sermon, if you'll notice, took place back in June 18. Rob's sermon was July 27. What are the odds that Rob did not know about the existence of this sermon? In fact, if you look at the show notes here, this is kind of the same pattern that Rob followed in his sermon. I thought that was shocking. I thought that was shocking. They are either being told, you should do this sermon, you should title it this, you should do it about now, or, now that's Operation 1. That's kind of what Candace is talking about with his mockingbird pastors. That's option 1. Option 2 is Rob McCoy was there or heard about it or saw it on YouTube and stole it. Option 3 doesn't exist. There is no option 3 where Rob just happened to name his sermon a month later the exact same title and use the exact same verses. That doesn't exist. That would be fictitious. Let me start where we were going to go last time. So as Rob normally starts, he starts talking immediately about Charlie Kirk 2.5 minutes into the sermon. Here's what he says. I don't know if any of you were aware of the Student Action Summit. It was a firestorm. It was a firestorm, Rob McCoy says. It was interesting because I had just gotten back from Israel. Of course you did. And you're back there now. Now, we'll learn in a minute what he was doing over there and who he was talking to and why. And Tucker was one of the speakers. Tucker has a huge following. He came up and he started to allude that Jeffrey Epstein, he's asking the question, but he's always asking the question in such a manner where he's alluding that it has to be fact. But he said that Epstein was an agent of Mossad. And as you go back, you can see that Giselle Maxwell, and again, her name is Ghislaine. I don't know why he calls her Gazelle. The gazelle's an animal in Africa, Rob. Get out a little. Touch some safari grass. Her father was a Mossad agent, and so all of a sudden that means Epstein is, and Epstein's Jewish. So he has to be, because Epstein's a Jewish name. And then asking about Ackerman and a bunch of other things. Hold on. No. You can't blow by this, Rob. You can't say he's asking about Ackerman. Why does a parish in Thousand Oaks, California know who Ackerman is? That's freaking weird, dude. That is so weird that you have so much talked about this issue and the funders to TPUSA and the billionaires who fund all of this issue. It's so weird that you've talked about all this so much that they would know who Bob Ackerman is by the word Ackerman. I had a professor named Ackerman in law school. I would have thought you were talking about him. That's weird, dude. And you saw this room of 7,000 conservative youth. And as a lot of you know, Charlie, internal polling at TikTok, is the #1 influencer for 18 to 30-year-olds worldwide politically. That's key. That's key. That's key to why Charlie Kirk's not alive anymore. That's key why Charlie Kirk's not alive anymore. Because he's the number one influencer age 18 to 30. And because he was turning on the issue. We talked about that last week. That's been beaten to death. You've seen the text messages. Leaving me no choice but to leave the Israeli cause. You've seen that. Well, if it's Ackman, I saw that in the chat. If it's Ackman, he said it wrong because he said Ackerman. And here he is. He's gathered together key battleground states, Michigan, Arizona. Okay, I'm skipping some of this because it's ludicrous. All right, hey, here. Well, Tucker was one of them, and Tucker's been a voice. But he's becoming, I wouldn't call him anti-Semitic. He's not real favorable to Israel. Candace Owens, on the other hand, I'm not sure where she's gone. She's on live Monday through Thursday around 4 p.m. Central Time. That's where she's gone. She has the number one podcast in the country. That's where she's gone. She's honest about these issues. That's where she's gone. And then he goes on and he talks about the divide, the generational divide. He said, you're watching a divide in this country. Boomers are traditionally, we believe that Jews are God's chosen people. We believe that Israel has an ancestral right to the land, according to Genesis 12. We go through all these things. Well, that's not the church today with 18 to 30-year-olds. We believe, here's where he gets into what I was talking about in my opening. What they call replacement theology has taken hold and captivated the minds of these young people. No, Rob, no, it hasn't. Nobody's teaching replacement theology. That's the point. They're teaching fulfillment theology, which is traditional Christian doctrine for the last 2,000 years. I'm sorry you didn't know about it. I'm sorry you didn't read about it in whatever seminary you went to. What they call replacement theology has taken hold and captivated the minds of these young people. And then he compares it to slavery. And similar to me, I would say of America in 1857. That's the way they operate. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. I'm skipping a little bit here. And then he complains that they took the scriptures out of context. Yes, Robbie, we know. We know you did. We know you did. All right, let me scroll forward because here. And so here we are today. The church is divided. There's a huge awakening in the 18 to 30-year-olds, a massive return to church. Most of them are going to Catholic churches because the Protestant church is all about pathos and ethos and not about logos. They appeal to emotion. This is Rob McCoy talking, not your humble host. And with this, they take out natural light and put in fake light and smoke and mirrors. They captivate with things other than teachings from the scriptures. What he's saying here is that young people are not buying into the smoking laser light show Protestantism, and they're going to the Catholic Church. What do we know about Charlie Kirk? Towards the end of his life, he was regularly going to Catholic Church. Oh, but I thought Rob McCoy was his pastor. Oh? Did Rob McCoy think Rob McCoy was his pastor? Let me tell you something here. Someone sent me this sermon Rob McCoy gave in October, and she was at the sermon. She was there, and she got a video of it. And in the sermon, only one time on earth did Charlie Kirk say that Rob McCoy was his pastor. It was on Twitter one time in like August, I think, of 2020. No other time did he mention it. I've seen no other public mention of it. I've scoured ChatGPT. I've scoured Grok. I've looked at Charlie's Twitter feed. I've searched it. I see no other reference to Rob McCoy being Charlie's pastor. In fact, the only person who is holding on to this claim that Rob McCoy was Charlie's pastor is Rob McCoy. And he'll tell anybody that, anybody who'll listen, including this random church, the Pursuit Northwest. I'll share it with you. Listen to the next 10 or 15 seconds of this. And listen to how good of a parishioner do you think Charlie Kirk was?
You know, some of you may or may not know, I had the privilege to be Charlie Kirk's pastor. And that's what he called me. And I always thought, you know, I'd rather be referred to as his friend and his biggest fan. But he called me that. And I thought,
he called you that one time on Twitter. One time.
He was a terrible congregant. He was only in church like 4 times.
There it is. There it is. You're lying. That's the fact. You're lying. In 4 or 5 years that you knew him, he went to your church 4 times. Because one time he referred to you as his pastor. You know, like some people say, my Braves won the World Series back in 2021. My Hoosiers have won 5 national championships in college basketball. I never played on the Hoosiers. I never played on the Braves. It's an expression. My boy is out there killing it night in and night. He's not your boy. You didn't birth this kid. Calling you his pastor is like, you totally don't understand the youth movement, brother, but you are milking this for all it's worth. You're milking it for all it's worth because it's valuable to you. All right, now I got to get back to the original sermon because I'm not even to the good part. Not even to the good part. Yes, the Catholic thing was pissing Rob off. There's no doubt about it. All right, let me see here. Where were we? How far away are we? 9:58, we're close. I'm scrolling. I got to get to the 10:24 mark. Here we go. Ready? This is the key. He says, Charlie is in alignment with my beliefs that Israel has an ancestral right to the land and that Israelites are God's chosen people. And for that, he's considered a Zionist. But what's interesting is when he brings Tucker on the Student Action Summit to speak, in a constitutional republic where you debate ideas because you use words and you're able to debate these things, it doesn't rise to the level of violence. What a weird choice of words that was. Why would it rise to the level of violence? No one is talking about violence. Literally nobody is talking about violence. Do I not have any moderators in there? Someone's spamming. No one's talking about violence. And so the world that is Zionist calls him an anti-Semite. He's beat up on both sides. Fascinating. I wish I had the YouTube video because what he says here is, I'll recreate it, shall I? Hold on. I got to get a shirt that's entirely too small. I can't get one small enough. But he gets this shirt. It's entirely too small. He's wearing it. I don't have skinny jeans on, so I'm not going to stand up and act like Rob. But just imagine I look like Rob McCoy. I've got a huckster appearance to me. And I say, and so that the world that is Zionist calls him an anti-Semite. He's beat up on both sides. Fascinating. President Trump is in office because of the youth vote. That pause he gave, I wish it was still on YouTube because I want to play it and I don't trust these people to be fair players. But that pause was so devastating, so devastating. It looked as if he was looking ahead that 1,000-yard stare and saying, I hate what's about to happen to the young chap. I just hate what's about to happen to the young chap. All right, going ahead, here is the key to the entire thing. For some reason, he's talking about where he's going to go in Romans 11 and Romans 9. And then he adds this. You know, this article made it to the front page of the Jerusalem Post in Israel. I'm going to pull it up in a second. The person who wrote it when I was in Israel, I had a 2-hour meeting with him. Orthodox rabbi, good guy. Struggled over Charlie's position of allowing Tucker Carlson to come and speak and not disavowing Candace Owen as his friend. Let me ask you a question. Orthodox rabbi living in Israel. Who cares what he thinks? Who cares? This is an American political action organization, TPUSA, not TPISR. TPUSA. Who gives a rat's hiney what some Orthodox rabbi on the other side of the world thinks about it? Unless they might kill him. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying that's what they did. I'm not saying that's what, but I'm telling you, something's weird about how much they care about him over there. This article made it to the front page of the Jerusalem Post in Israel. I'm going to show it in a second. I'm going to pull it up. The person who wrote it, when I was in Israel, I had a 2-hour meeting with them. Orthodox rabbi, good guy, struggled over Charlie's position of allowing Tucker Carlson to come and speak and not disavowing Candace Owen. I will never disavow somebody because some religious leader of a religion I am not on the other side of the world thinks I should. If some Hindu spiritual leader wrapped up in a bedsheet, wandering around in Calcutta, cow walking in front of him, thinks I should disavow somebody? No, absolutely not. I don't care what you think, sir. It's irrelevant to me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm back to Rob here. I've never heard Charlie speak poorly of anyone publicly. He talks to them privately. So you're saying you've heard him talk poorly of people privately? I mean, that's like word for word what you just said. Interesting to me that they look at Charlie as an anti-Semitic because of that. And this man that wrote the article is the one who was moved. It took time. Here's the key. Here's why I think they deleted it. Not even that. Not even what you just heard. Here's what I don't think they wanted you to see. Here's what I don't think they wanted me to discuss live on air, because I've made the connection here. We were in a text stream. You remember text messages that came out from about this time? We were in a text stream with a number of Orthodox Israelis going back and forth and contending why this is so necessary in a constitutional republic. Okay, let me pause there. I cannot emphasize this enough, that it is totally weirding me out that a bunch of Orthodox Jews over in Israel give two rips what Charlie Kirk is saying at TPUSA's Student Action Summit. It weirds me out. Why do you think you have such an interest in it? Could it be the same reason that the Prime Minister of Israel gave multiple speeches denying he had anything to do with the death? Can you imagine if I was all eaten up with what was going on over there? Like just some random Catholic in Middle Tennessee? Over in America, Middle America, flyover country? And I'm over here, and they're over there messing around with some Orthodox issues. I don't even know what the issue of the day is, but I'm like, whoa, you need to disavow Rabbi, Grushewitz. You need to, Rabbi Brushwitz, you need to disavow him. Who am I? I'm not even Jewish. They're not even Christian. Why should they care? So moved. This is back again to the text stream. He's identifying one of the people on the text stream. So moved was Pesach Wilicki that he wrote this article, made it to the front page, defending Charlie. Again, why does Charlie need defending in Jerusalem? Why does it matter? Why does Charlie need to be defended in Jerusalem? In other words, let's ask the obvious question. What happens to Charlie if he doesn't get defended? That's the question that is being raised by this exchange. That's the question that's being raised by this exchange. What happens to Charlie if he doesn't get defended? You're pointing out how important it was that Charlie be defended. So what happens if he doesn't get defended, Pastor McCoy? Do tell. We're listening. We're all ears. What are they going to do to Charlie? If he doesn't disavow Candace and he keeps letting Tucker speak, what's going to happen to Charlie? What about these people on the text thread? What are they going to do to Charlie? I got to know. I'm on the edge of my seat here, Rob. Because that's such an obvious question in this context. That's such an obvious question in this context. That's why they pulled the damn sermon. That's why they pulled it. Because they didn't want people like me reading it with people like you looking at it going, yeah, why did they have to defend him? You see why I'm wearing red? Why I'm so heated? My face is red. Hold on. Where am I? There I am. Yeah, face is red. I can feel it. What's going to happen to Charlie, Pastor? You don't ever tell me. The vitriol and venomous poison being spewed by those of hatred and anger. No one's spewing poison, sir. No one's spewing poison. You know what they call poison? When you don't support the government of Benjamin Netanyahu, but you know who else doesn't support the government of Benjamin Netanyahu? Well, I'll show you. I've got a public opinion poll. This is approval of the country's leadership and government. Do you approve or disapprove of the job performance of the leader of this country? This is in Israel, going back to 2008. This is, in other words, Benjamin Netanyahu's job approval rating in his home country. In this country, do you have confidence in each of the following or not? How about national government? Guys, he's underwater in his own country. My position, the position of many here in America that think Benjamin Netanyahu probably isn't the guy to be leading Israel right now, and maybe we don't support them, it appears to be in line with the majority of Israel. So is it anti-Israeli to have that position? Is it anti-Israeli to have that position? Right here. His personal approval rating is at 40%. If you open Drudge Report, you'll see Donald Trump's is about 40, and they act like the world is ending, and he's the worst president in the history of mankind. But when we talk about Benjamin Netanyahu, it's like the second coming of Jesus Christ. Guys, this is an op. This is an operation. There's a lot of money behind this operation. A lot of money behind this operation. And these guys want to be in power. These guys want to be in power to spend it and to get it. That's the key. That's what they didn't want you to hear. That Rob McCoy is saying entirely too much because he doesn't prepare his sermons and he just talks off the top of his head and he just says whatever comes to his head. Speaking of, man, I'm going to play a clip in a second that I would say would blow your mind, but it's so weird, such a weird clip. It's such a weird clip that if I use the phrase blow your mind, you'll be like, hey, you were in on it. You're bad too. No, bro. No, I'm not in on this. This is so distasteful. A Rob McCoy clip. But that's what they didn't want you to see. They didn't want you to see that Rob McCoy is over there talking to Orthodox rabbis and what he calls Orthodox Israelis, meaning they're not necessarily just rabbis. These are just everyday Israelis. But he's over there talking to Orthodox Israelis. And what they're saying over there is, hey, we've got to defend Charlie. We're going to have to come out with public statements. And I'm going to show you one here in just a second. I'll show you, just one. We're going to have to defend Charlie publicly because why? You all know why. Look at this. This is in the Jerusalem Post, Rabbi Pasak Walicki that they were just talking about. There's that date again, July 20th. Weird. Charlie Kirk's role in defending Israel in the growing generational divide. Charlie Kirk is not the enemy. Who? Why is that a topic of conversation in the friggin' Jerusalem Post? I don't get it. I'll never get it. The viral clips of Carlson's anti-Israel rant, including a bizarre attack on billionaire Bill Ackman, have led to criticism of Kirk and his organization, calling them out for platforming and messaging toxic. Platforming messaging toxic to Jews in Israel. Platforming messaging toxic to Jews in Israel. And here's the key, the defending. As long as Charlie's on their team, they'll defend him. That's the whole point of this article. Hey, guys, he's not the enemy. Despite his role in the Charlie Kirk thing, he's not the enemy. Despite his role in the these ads are flashing in my eyes. Despite his role in the Tucker Carlson thing, despite Charlie Kirk's role with Candace Owens, despite Charlie Kirk's role with Dave Smith, Charlie Kirk's not the enemy because he loves Israel. He supports Israel. And in fact, he's a bulwark against the young people turning on Israel, leaving really no support for Israel whatsoever here in the United States. Well, what's key about that? 2 days before Charlie Kirk dies, he switches teams. He's no longer Team Israel. Quote, leaving me no choice but to leave the Israeli cause. Leaving me no choice but to leave the Israeli cause. In other words, the reason that the reason you gave for defending Charlie is no longer valid. So Rabbi Wilicki, Pazicki, whatever your name is, do you still defend him? Do you still defend Charlie if he has been left no choice but to leave the Israeli cause? Charlie is often attacked for being too pro-Israel. In other words, we need to support this guy. Hundreds of clips of him passionately defending Israel. These are the points that he's making why people should defend him. Anyone accusing him of anti-Semitism, not only ill-informed. Were Charlie to invoke a pro-Israel test for speakers, he would lose audience. Charlie addresses anti-Semitism head on. Hey, guys, guess what? 2 days before he died, he gave all that up. Every single point, not Pastor Wilicki, Rabbi Pesach Wilicki, every single point he makes for why Charlie needs to be protected and defended, Charlie abandoned 2 days before he died. I'm just telling you. I don't know any other way to read this. I don't know any other way to read this than the way I've read it. There's just no other way to look at it. Now, I want to play one more quick clip of this other sermon. I'm going back because in light of all of this, I got to go back to the other sermon from Northwest Washington. Because now, by the time he gives this sermon, Charlie's no longer alive. This sermon was on October 5th. Charlie had been dead for a little while. And what he's describing here is the battle between David and Goliath. He's describing the battle between David and Goliath. I want you to just listen to how he describes it. David just starts. Actually, I can't do the I'm sorry if this is the way you guys do your church service, but I cannot do the piano in the background while someone's talking. Bring. I mean, he's given a sermon. Stop with the piano. So I'm going to play it on mute. Watch how he describes the moment the rock hits his face. Do you see that? I mean, in light of the fact that Charlie just got shot and it kind of looked like that, do we have to do it twice? Do we have to do it twice? Yeah, you can't hear because I'm not playing the music. You can't hear because I'm not playing the music. I cannot stand when someone's talking and someone's playing like super soft piano in the background. But I wanted you to see that. Is there anything in the Bible that describes that level of graphic? Oh my gosh, you guys can't even see it. I took it off. All right, we're going back. I apologize. It's like my first day. All right, watch this. This is Rob McCoy showing graphically why. You see that? He'll do it again. Do it at both sides just for good effect. I think a month or so, less than a month after Charlie Kirk was shot so graphically, maybe that is not the imagery you need in the pulpit when talking about David and Goliath. Guys, it's one of the most played out metaphors in the history of the Bible. We know what happened. We know what happened. It's one of the most played out things. Turn your volume up if you can barely hear me. It's one of the most played out images in the entire Bible. Do we need you doing this? And question, when you read David and Goliath as a kid or even as an adult, did you ever one time think the rock went through him and shot out the other side so graphically? Did you ever one time think the rock went through his head? And that his, whatever he's doing here, that his brains like ejected out of the back of his skull? Did you ever think that's what happened? I've heard David and Goliath's story no fewer than 400,000 times. Not one time did anyone ever say to me, and you know, when they hit him in the forehead with the rock actually penetrated his skull, went through his brains, penetrated the back of his skull, and it blew out on the wall behind the tent screen behind. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean tent screen. I didn't mean the tent screen. Sorry. I meant the wall. No, I didn't even. No. Where's Mikey McCoy? Is he walking off yet? Was there a Mikey McCoy equivalent in the David and Goliath story? Was there a Mikey McCoy equivalent? Did Jonathan wander off behind the tent? I don't know where this guy gets it. I don't know where this guy gets it. It is beyond acceptable, in my opinion. It is truly beyond acceptable to me that Rob McCoy takes this approach to Charlie Kirk's death. I don't believe he's being honest about his relationship with Charlie Kirk. I don't believe Charlie Kirk viewed Rob McCoy as his pastor. I think he's made that up. I do. I just think he's flat out made it up. He just said earlier, and we heard it, that Charlie had only been to his church 4 times. I think he spoke there once, maybe twice. Everybody's repeating the pastor line because Rob McCoy keeps saying it. And because he's a pastor, because he's a man of the cloth, we just assume what he's saying is true. That's weird to me. Charlie Kirk one time called Rob McCoy his pastor. One time on Twitter. He went to the church 4 times over like 4 or 5 years. Maybe longer. I think in 2019 was the first time he spoke. So we're talking 6 years. Went to the church 4 times in 6 years. All right, let me get to some of these super chats here. Philip Chartier, I don't know that I can get to. I'll try to get to all of them. Philip Chartier, $5. Thank you very much. Back at you, another $5. Why was Rob McCoy trying to bring Charlie to Israel? As a pastor, he should bring Israel to Jesus. That's the nature of fulfillment theology, sir. You've just identified the problem. It's not that people think the church has replaced Israel. That's not the Christian teaching of the last 2,000 years. It's that those who were Jewish at the time recognized Jesus was the Messiah. And they became followers of Jesus because Jesus was the fulfillment of Judaism. That was the whole point. That was the whole point. Boise JetVid guy here sent you a picture of Brave browser running interference for Pastor Rob through its AI assistant. I will check that out. Your video on the Boise Jets was phenomenal, sir. You rock, Baron, a force to be reckoned with. I'm with you. I like that arm you got there. Tony. Hey, Tony. Jolly Pop, Baron Coleman for president. No, ma'am. No interest. No, sir. Which one? I'm not sure. No interest in being president. You know why? Because I've seen what it's done to Donald Trump. I've seen what it's done to Donald Trump. He campaigned like Donald Trump. He's governing like George Bush. I've got no interest. If that's what it does to you, I don't want to do it. I want to be right here talking to you. Someone said you're a Fed and throw gang signs. I don't know it. Actually, I do know one gang sign. I do know one gang sign. I learned it in a rap video when I was a teenager. I am not a Fed. I don't know why they would say that. Of course, a Fed would say that. I'm not a Fed. Never been. Actually, he wasn't a Fed at the time. He was a state attorney general. Tried to claim I was a confidential informant to muzzle me because he didn't like what I was saying. Imagine that. And the judge agreed I was not. I'm allowed to have conversations. The McCoys are guilty, but you should look into John McGovern. Funny you should say that, Alex. I've been looking into John McGovern. That's a hard man to look into. John McGovern was the highest paid TPUSA employee last year. He made, I think, over $400,000 as maybe a development director or something. That man is a hard man to get a hold of. Can't tell if he lives in South Carolina. Can't tell if he lives in Virginia. I mean, I can, but it's hard. Hard work. Hard work. But no job too big for people going max. My save the holy sote. Are we talking in tongues? I saved the whole something in sermons to the public internet archive. Google L, the Wayback Machine, so it will live there forever. Please email that to me. Please email that to me. Email me that link, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to see it. Go Max. We're all along for the ride to get the truth. Y'all didn't know I had merch. You didn't know I had merch. Homemade merch, but merch nonetheless. I'm so mad right now. Go Max. And go Max indeed, Genevieve. Thank you for the generous donation. Steeler Girl, you're also a generous donor week in and week out. I see you there. Go Max. Absolutely, Imperial Shea Love. We shall indeed. Techie Head, $20. Thank you. Very generous. Candace said the TPUSA video showed no blood. And his security team carried him away to the SUV 13 seconds after the shot. Just enough time to, let's stop with the squib tubes, shall we? Let's stop with the squib tubes. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? If he used squib tubes, if he's not actually dead, if the whole thing was a show, where is he? And for what purpose? For what purpose? Stop it. Generous donation, though. Very generous donation. For $20, I'll let you say anything crazy. Give me another 20, I'll let you say it two crazy things. Did you hear Pastor Rob say the Nicene Creed attacked the Israelis? John McCain would call him a wacko bird. I did hear him say that. I heard him talk about Constantine and totally butcher church history and global history, frankly. The judge is here. Top of the morning to you. $20, thank you. Diane G, 2512. B, we often do not use complete sentences because we're rushing to insert a comma in reference to a statement you made. A comment in reference to a statement you made. There, feel better. Love the mottos. Love your fire. You match mine. I'm angry. Go Max. Go Max to me now means I'm angry. To me, go Max means I recognize you're angry and I'm okay with it. Please, by all means, feel free to go crazy. That's to me what go Max now means. It doesn't mean attack Israel. Might have meant that at the TPUSA Student Action Summit when he said it to Tucker. Doesn't mean it to me. That's not why I'm wearing it. It means, hey, brother, I recognize the fire in your belly, and you're all right with me. Go Max, we're behind you, sir. Much respect. Thank you, Sandy, out there in Colorado. Angela Munoz. These you people are so generous. Angela Munoz, 777. Sorry, late to the party on why are we discounting the palm gun guy? Theory Rick Cutler. Looks like he pulled a trigger. Bit off topic, but curious on your opinion. We love watching you, Baron. Godspeed. I know Rick Cutler. I know he was part of the team. I've seen the video you guys, a lot of you think is a palm gun. I don't know that it's a palm gun. That's why I'm discounting it. He would have to be a very accurate marksman, sir, to shoot someone like that. I mean, that fast. You know, even if you shoot him with a pistol, you kind of put a beat on him. I mean, how did he get it so accurate, so fast? That seems far-fetched to me. And I've seen no evidence there was a palm pistol. So that's why. If you have better evidence, I'll be happy to review it and change my mind. Back to Canuck Bucks. $25. Just found your channel 2 days ago. I followed Candace, Ian, and now you. Thank you. Welcome in. Thanks for your work. Also, I got to say, when you said you have 8 children, I was like, oh, you're doing God's work. Fear not. 40 grandchildren. They promised me. They promised me. Elodium. 2466. They promised me. Super sticker, Veronica Chapa, thank you. Kelsey, $4.99, multiple of the same sermons, Calvary, Utah, 618, Calvary, Tampa, 622, Calvary, EC, 1022, Calvary. All the Romans, I'm going to save this. Remember, this is how I save comments. I pull out my trusty camera and take a screen cap. I will look that up. If that's true, that's an issue. And my opinion is an issue. I mean, I don't care if a pastor is not, isn't the one, what's the word I'm looking for? If he's cribbing, just don't say it's yours. Like, let us know. Like, imagine if I didn't write my monologue. Imagine if I didn't sit down and actually write the monologue every day. And somebody else wrote it and I just read the script. That would be not right. That would be not right. These churches are Judas goats for digital ID. I don't know what that means. But I appreciate the Canuck Bucks. I sat through the entire sermon. He literally sounds like he just left an FBI briefing on right-wing extremism. That's correct. That's what he sounds like every time he takes the pulpit. That's what he sounds like you know what my priest talked about this morning? Angels. Angels. The biblical description of angels and demons. It was about, 7 to 10 minutes maybe. Went to the AMBO and talked about angels. It was beautiful. He gave church teaching, biblical scripture references. It was beautiful. I've never heard him go like full right wing or left wing. Just here's what the church teaches on the stuff we read today. Okay, thank you. Top of the morning to you, Padre. We're talking about replacing allies. Replacing allies. Who's talking about it? I want to know, Steelers girl. Who's talking about it? We're talking about replacing allies. Are the people in Rob's congregation paid? Because there's no way those people are attending week after week to hear these sermons. I don't know. I mean, you'd be surprised, man. 300 million people, there's some weirdos out there. I'll just be honest. There's some weirdos. I've met them. You been to a Walmart lately? There's nothing wrong with Walmart. Like, I go to Walmart. But doesn't mean there's not weirdos in there. I could see those people sitting through that. Yeah. I could definitely see some of the Walmart people sitting through that. He made the exact same speech at the memorial, WTF. Hold on. Hopefully it wasn't this speech he made at the memorial. Could you imagine? If Rob McCoy gets up at Charlie Kirk's memorial, goes into some bird dance, and then does that, boom. I hope that's not what he did. I hope that's not the speech he gave. I confess, of all the Rob McCoy speeches I've watched, I've not watched the memorial speech. Holy mackerel, that tickled me. Christian Zionism equals oxymoron. Why are so many Christians bending the knee to the terrorist state of Israel? Jesus Christ is king of Israel. I'm not going to comment too much on that. I will say that there has been a persistent Zionist movement within Christian circles for several hundred years now. But I think where I draw the line is where he's trying to change fulfillment theology, which has been standard Christian doctrine since Acts, right? Or really since Jesus, before he died. I think that's where I draw the line. Like, why is a Christian believing that anyone's teaching replacement theology? I don't know. Had God cast his people aside, Godspeak Calvary, July 27, Calvary, Utah, June 18, Calvary, Tampa, June 22, Calvary, EC. Did I just read that? Did I read that already? That looks familiar. Yeah, I don't know. Listen up on how to speak to people who are bad faith actors. Do not engage in their territory. Sun Tzu. Like, can I tell you something? The art of war is so overrated. Like, the art of war for being a manager of McDonald's. The art of war for, how to fill up with unleaded. The art of war for, I don't know, man, like accountants. I just think, I don't even know if there's a guy named Sun Tzu, if we're being honest. I think it's just like some things some Chinese people were saying, and they were like, all right, put it in a book. Maybe some Westerners will buy it one day. Like, if you knew a guy named, Daryl Smith wrote that, would you buy it? I mean, we judge it by the content, not by the author. If a guy named Daryl Smith wrote The Art of War, would you read it? I wouldn't. I read I think I've got it over there on my bookshelf. Maybe not. I don't know. Is it that little white one? I've got it somewhere. It's a white hardback copy. I've read it. I read The Prince, Machiavelli. I think it's better than the Sun Tzu Art of War. I think it's time for some merch, Baron. I've got merch. Look at how I did that. That's literally just printed off and stuck on with Scotch tape, which is a racist product, by the way. Scotch tape, really? If you, Ian, Kansas, and Dee Dee got a podcast unite, I think you guys can get to the bottom of this. Let's make it happen, everyone. Flood the comments section. Actually, talk to 2 of those people in the last 24 hours about working together. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Spotify podcast episode, Occult Statecraft, How Demons, Magicians, and Intelligence Agencies shape the modern world. History of the PSYOP. If I saw that title, I would click it. Is that a real podcast? I mean, I would click it. That's the kind of stuff I listen to. That's how I found, what's his name? Sam. Can't think of his last name right now. I listen to his stuff every now and then. He's wild. He had me convinced one time Florida didn't exist. Like it was just a myth. I lived there twice. And he had me convinced it didn't exist. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've been there. Baron, there's something about the way this pastor speaks. Does he use some kind of NLP? What's an NLP? Go Max from Wales. All I know when I listen to you, there is coherence. I think this pastor is vampiric. Coherence. I like that. I always tell people I'm intellectually honest and philosophically consistent. And if sometimes that steps on your toes on the right wing or the left wing, I can't help that. I am on the right wing. I don't think there's anybody who would doubt that. But every now and then I'll say something, people are like, can't say that. We're right wingers. I'm like, I'm intellectually honest. I'm philosophically consistent. If the right wing's wrong on something, I'm going to point it out. If I knew, honestly, what NLP was, I would be able to evaluate that question. I don't. The word anti-Semite gets thrown at everyone who isn't in lockstep with Israel. But I never hear the word antichrist in reference to those who don't believe in Jesus Christ. Wow. Because antichrist is a very loaded word. An anti-Semite isn't attacking their Messiah. Antichrist is attacking our Messiah. But I get it. I get it. I understand what you're saying. Mackenzie Garrison, very generous. Thank you. Treen's Screen. CK, Charlie Kirk, called Rob his pastor at 4:15 on the YouTube channel. Somebody love you worldwide. Vid is special guest speaker Charlie Kirk. Sunday morning, second service. Okay, so twice. We now, assuming that's true, and I will check. Probably actually. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to check it. I'm going to take it as fact. Now, if somebody else writes in, I'm going to start checking these. But I don't think someone named Treen's Screen would pay $10 to lie to me. So specifically. Now, that's a damn specific lie. That is a super specific lie. This is so specific I could check it, and I'm not going to. Quick, somebody join or get off. We're at 7,666 on viewers. That's scary. I will check. No, I'm not going to check it out. I believe you. This guy said it twice. And he hadn't said it in 4 years. From afar. Who uses the word afar? Come on. I know we're talking about the Bible, but nobody uses the word afar. I came from afar, sir. I just got here. It took me 2 hours. I came from afar. Nobody uses the word afar. From afar, your hat logo looks like a maxi pad that says Go Maxi. Sir, get your head out of the gutter. And have you watched Ian Carroll's description of tampons? You would not take the subject so lightly. Seriously, if you haven't and you have daughters or a wife, Google Ian Carroll tampons. That is the best advice I can ever give you. I couldn't help but get tickled at your reaction when he pulled it down. I wiggle max after that, and the burning. Yes, I am burning. I wiggle a lot. I was talking to somebody about that today. They're like, I don't understand why people say you wiggle so much. I was like, I don't either. So I went and I downloaded one of my episodes and I watched it at 10x. And then I was like, and then I got it. Then I completely understood it. I was like, okay, I'm going to make an effort tonight to not wiggle as much. I'll watch this one on 10x and I'll be the judge. Created some awesome embroidery. Go Max hats. Why are we doing 2 X's? One more X and we're like in porn territory. That 2X is too close to 3 for me. I mean, that's right there. In fact, somebody might look at it and think there are 3 X's and think I'm a porn head. Created some awareness, embroidered Go Max hats and gear for me and the fam, but decided to make it available for other noticers. I keep going Max, link in my bio. There's your advertising. I recommend 1X. Did you see Ian got bot swarmed on Twitch for vid? I did. I'm going to play that in a minute. That's where I'm going next, believe it or not. It was bizarre. He was covering this program. Well, I'm going to show it to you. I don't have to set it up. Thank you for raising the issue before I raise it. Baron, my ADHD friend, keeps sending it and goes Supermax. You are spot on over the target of truth. I will do my best. My good friend, Chief Sherry Hall. UT, is that Tennessee or Texas? Is it the UT or is it the other one? Go Max with wings. Oh, come on, guys. Stop it. That was cute. All right, $2. That was worth it. Well spent. Money well spent. Is Mikey named after the sex offender? Sex offender. Is there a Mikey McCoy sex offender? I don't know what that means. We can't see. Oh, that was the vid. Yeah, I fixed it. I'm sorry. Big trouble there. I do apologize. Innocent people don't act this way. Agreed. Why would a pastor want to hide his sermons? Double agreed. Ian's live was attacked when he showed your live from Friday too. Triple agreed. Sava J. Princess. We're right here. Keep shining a light on people who are around CK. Will do, my lady. Will do. Back into the left. Back into the left. Rob was on the King Saul Commission investigating the Goliath assassination. That was so weird to me. Can we watch it one more time real quick? Just one more time. It's even better on mute. I think I want that to be my new screensaver on my phone. Because look, you could clip it kind of right here and right behind it. That'll be my new screensaver. I'm going to clip that. Back into the left. Back into the left. That was from JFK, the movie JFK. Great video. I guess also from Seinfeld. Keith Hernandez and the Magic Loogie. Deep reference there. As you can see, I watch a lot of Seinfeld. Is this the video they pulled when you were live? No. The video I showed tonight was not the video they pulled when I was live. The one I was reading the transcript from was. There's something seriously off about Rob McCoy. No. You must not have been watching the last 5 episodes. What? I can't read that out loud. Thank you for the $5, but Barry and curious your thoughts on Erica. Also, thank you for your research thus far. Praying over you in Michigan. Audrey, I appreciate the prayers. I appreciate the $5. I don't know if you appreciate my thoughts, though. I've stated my thoughts. I've never been on the Erica bandwagon, meaning I've never thought she was involved. I don't think she's involved. I don't think she was involved. Let me ask you a question, Audrey. If you woke up tomorrow and your husband had been publicly assassinated, and you knew all the evidence, you'd been as close to it as anyone, and the FBI comes to you and says, hey, we caught the guy. You're like, oh, thank God. And then they tell you, yes, your husband was publicly assassinated by a random 22-year-old, 23-year-old weirdo who played Magic the Gathering and was into furries. And he planned all this out himself. We don't know when he got the gun or how he sighted it in and where he practiced. We don't know how he knew so much about the UVU campus or where Charlie Kirk would be located or where the security would be at the time. We don't know how he was able to infill and exfil so quickly and easily without getting caught. We don't know how he was able to scale down a 15, 16-foot wall like Spider-Man. We don't know how he knew how to access that particular spot on the roof so easily and that he would be able to get up there, lay down, get a shot unnoticed, and then exfiltrate in a matter of a couple of minutes. But we're pretty confident it's him. Yeah, we're pretty confident it's him. And that was the FBI and the state police and the county sheriff, and they all tell you this. Oh, yeah, straight face. Oh, yeah, we got him. He's the guy. And you know they're lying. What would you do? Would you call him out and be the next one to go? Serious question. Put yourselves in the shoes. Just assume everything I said is true. Put yourselves in her shoes. Every person in your life looks like they're in on it. Like Mikey McCoy is now the chief of staff of the company you're the CEO of. And he was weird that day. Blake Neff was weird that day. Your security guard, your personal security guard, that was your husband's personal security guard, who stepped forward doing baseball signals right the moment the gunshot went off. Yeah, he'll be guarding you. He'll be taking care of you, ma'am. He'll be making sure no one shoots you. Pinky swear. How would you act? Appreciate the $5. Collab with Didi Got a Podcast. Stay tuned. Might happen. Might happen. I like Didi. He's got good stuff. Good content producer. I believe the Jerusalem Post article was to create a preemptive, plausible deniability. I tend to agree. We didn't shoot him. We were defending him. Nita, appreciate it. $20 for the hat. No, sir. Absolutely not. This is a one of a kind. Priceless. Any explanation on why Kanye West hugged the rabbi this past week? Why not? I don't have an explanation for much of what he does. Good or bad. Like, when he's good, he's good. That's something Kanye West doesn't get enough credit for. He does everything to the extreme. When he's good, he's the best at whatever he's doing. But when he's bad, I don't know. That depends on which side of the aisle you're on, whether that was good or bad. What's more suspicious, Tyler Boyer and the audit or the corrupt pastors? How do they bridge together? What do you mean how they bridge together? There's no bond like money, baby. Ain't nothing bonds us like money. Romans 9:6, but it's not as though the word of God has failed. For not all who are descended from Israel belong to Israel. Please break this down. No, I will not. I'm not a priest. I'm not a theologian. I am not. I just take the words of Jesus literally. I didn't come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. So I assumed he fulfilled the law. Therefore, if you were following the law, now you got to follow Jesus because he fulfilled it. I take him at his word. That's it. That's it. That's as far as I'm willing to go. $6,100 per person to go with Rob to Israel in October 2026 on Inspired Travel website. We all going? Hey, Rob. Candace, Owen, Dee Dee, Barron, Project Constitution, Ryan Matta, Sam Parker, Steeler Girl. We're all heading with you to the Holy Land. I got dibs on sitting at your right hand. TP. Linked, is that Talking Points? Turning Point? I still call it Talking Points because I didn't used to like Charlie Kirk all that much. And I used to call it Talking Points instead of Turning Point. Turning Point is linked to John Mappin and Scientology audio sermons can be read under Godspeak on Apple Podcasts. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know who John Mappin is. I vaguely know what Scientology is, only because of Tom Cruise. And I would tell you I'd check it out, but I probably won't. Look, I don't think Godspeak's a Christian organization. So if you're telling me that they have non-Christian stuff up there, my God, the guy admitted he had James Lindsay give a sermon. James Lindsay's an atheist. Rob McCoy admitted he had James Lindsay give a sermon. James Lindsay is an atheist. I'm supposed to be surprised there's Scientology sermons on their website? Come on. Guys, the spelling of my name is literally in the name of the podcast. One R. One. I can't help it that Trump misspelled his son's name and gave him 2 R's. I am one. Thanks, Baron, for the info. Truth always comes out. You're welcome, Andrea. I'll give you $4.99 of that back if you'll spell it with 1 R. I'm a few minutes behind, but I'm curious if David and Goliath's sermon Rob gave coincided at all with Candace showing Charlie's text or saying that she would be his Goliath. I haven't run that timeline down. I'd have to do some research that I don't want to do on air. Sean Ryan podcast had the head of security of TPUSA. Love to hear your opinion. In my opinion, creepy as. Now, I didn't see the whole thing, but I watched. Let me say, Sean Ryan does 4-hour podcasts. I listen to podcasts like 10 minutes at a time. You know how long it would take me to listen to a 4-hour podcast? You think you see me wiggling up here? You think I can sit down and listen to a 4-hour podcast? Are you kidding me? It seriously would take me a month. because I lose track. I'm like, oh, now this one came out. Oh, now this one came out. And I'm listening like 10 minutes at a time of each of them. There are days I'm listening to 3 podcasts at once. Like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there, back to here, back to here, back to here. And that's how I go through my life. I do intend to listen to this one, though, to be fair, but I have not listened to it yet. It just came out. I did watch the 5 or 6 minute trailer of it. And here's what I heard. Yeah, Sean, we investigated ourselves, bro. Concluded it wasn't us. Yeah, man. Weird, right? I don't know what these people are thinking. I'm telling you, dog, we looked into it. It ain't us, bro. It ain't us. Melissa, thank you. Baron, thank you. You are so genuine and so refreshing. TPUSA is dunzo. The IRS statements were pulled up and put together in a 25-page report today by a third-party auditor of DD Got a Podcast. No turning back. Much respect. So 2 things on that. I have started the process of looking into the finances, and I did this. If you remember, I'm kind of telling on myself here. Like 4 or 5, maybe 6 shows ago, one of the parts of the title, I usually kind of put 1 or 2 of the things that I'm going to cover in there. One of the parts of the title was how much were TPUSA insiders making? I have started a chart of how much they were making, and it wasn't complete by the time I went live, so I just figured I'll cover that later and explain it when I do cover it. And then I got on all these other things. I started getting on Rob McCoy like a bone, and I just haven't come back to it. Well, then I watched Dee Dee's podcast where he had the guy on there talking about his audit, and then I watched another one today on the Wolves and Whatever podcast. Dog. Those dudes are in trouble. That's my opinion. Just my opinion. I wouldn't want to be involved with TPUSA right now. Thank you for going, Max. Thank you, Fran, for donating $5. John McGovern lives in Ukraine most. His charity to the nations, kids, Jake Hoffman, Stacey Sheridan, all LLCs, Blue Mountain Strategies. This goes deep. I did not know he lives in Ukraine most of the time. Now, that's weird because he is the top paid employee of TPUSA. What does that have to do with Ukraine? I guess anyone can work remote, but I mean, on the other side of the world? I'll look into that. They have an address in South Carolina and one in Virginia, he and his wife. And I'm not sure if they're still together. One lives in each. They both look current to me. One may not be. I don't know. I'll have to do a little more digging. Keep up the goodies work, and hopefully we get to the bottom of this. God bless. Thank you, Canuck Buck, Kathleen. I do appreciate that, and you're right. Hopefully we do get to the bottom of this. Israel was on brink of civil war then October 7th. I've heard that theory. Again, let me clarify I made a comment last time that I got a lot of email feedback on. It was in the monologue. You can debate everything that took place before October 7th and whether Israel was diligent enough at stopping it, whether they had a role in it. All that's up for debate. You can debate everything that happened after it started. Did they respond fast enough? Was there a stand-down order? All fair debate. Answer is, I don't know. But that's all fair criticism and all fair debate and all, in my opinion, acceptable for discussion. What's not acceptable for discussion is anyone who participated in it committed horrific atrocities. Period. You don't, in other words, you don't get a free pass because the owner of the house opens the door and says, come kill my children. Like, that doesn't give you a free pass. I've heard it explained this way. If a guy jumps off a building and is heading to the concrete and his 100-story building is surely going to pass away when you can't shoot him. Like, you cannot. That's murder. And so you don't get a pass even if Israel didn't do enough to stop it or knew about it or let's take worst case scenario. Say they paid for it, told them when to do it, pulled soldiers off the front line. I mean, worst case scenario. They still did it. They still did it. So you don't get a pass. I'm sorry. It's not how it works. If John McGovern made $400,000, he was not the highest paid employee of TPUSA. Did you watch Ian's audit epi? They made 4 times that much from multiple shell companies. Yes, but not from that one charity, TPUSA. I was selective with my words. Words have meaning. That's what the whole monologue. I didn't say he was the highest paid person in the series of closely held organizations and charities or interlinked charities. I didn't say that. I said he was the highest paid employee of the one organization, and he was. And he was. Yeah, the amount of money that was being moved around in there. The fact that people are donating to TPUSA and after Charlie passed is just shocking to me. He left his wife an 8-figure estate. He made like $6 million that we can find just from the charities in the last few years. They have $100 million saved up in endowments. That was 2 years ago. It could be twice that now. We don't know because they haven't filed the documents. The fact that anybody's donating to this place is insane. You know who doesn't have $100 million? Me. I don't. This guy. Right here. I would love to. I need the donations. I got 8 kids. They don't. They don't. I produce high quality content. And it's entertaining. Smooch, $10. Smooch back at you. Love the show. Ian Carroll brought me here. Any thoughts on the new Epstein file release? I can only cover one thing at a time. I can only cover one thing at a time. And I do have thoughts, but I'm not sure they're organized enough to share them. Super sticker, $10. Thank you. Ninzy bucks. I got some Inzy bucks. I hope that's like $1,000. It's probably more like a penny because I've never heard of it. But I hope it's big money. What's your response to people who are saying people like you and Candace are just pointing out random facts, not providing helpful evidence? They're full of crap. They don't know what they're talking about. They're in on it. They're paid. They're paid off hacks. They're getting Bitcoin. Anything else? I mean, that's my response. Wow. Alpaca Renee, $99.99. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for staying on this, Baron. You're doing his work. Did you see McCoy's sermon where he refers to his own mother as a... No, I've not come across that one yet. Alpaca Renee, please email that to me. Or maybe I can find it on X. Usually if it's something that shocking, you can look it up on X and find it. Thank you, though. Thank you. I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart. $4.99, love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. That's a fact, Jamie. I'm going max. 100 shot was from the bushes. I think it would have blown out the other side of his throat. I don't think it would have broken his C2 to C7, assuming that's accurate. I really think, think about it. The bush was kind of behind him, and it comes this way, and it hits here. That's only like 2 inches of soft tissue. And keep in mind, you got a couple of veins. Those don't put up any resistance. Just a trachea and esophagus. I don't know. Something was going on in the bushes, I'll tell you that. Stay out the bushes. If you've not seen it yet, I recommend queuing up Wolves and Finances video. I have seen it. I recommend you see it. It's dope. Nita Ramahi. Why are you mad? It's because the removal of the sermon proved a direct involvement with the assassination of CK. It's because the removal implies a guilty conscience. In my opinion. This whole thing's my opinion. Whole show is an opinion. I have the video Rob McCoy deleted during your stream I recorded days earlier. I don't know that I played that video that Rob deleted, unless he deleted more than one. Emailing you an interview with Rabbi W discussing Hampton meeting, which he was present for. I'll read it. Email it. Thank you, Hannah. Bays, I see that name a lot. Thank you for your continued generosity. Rob McCoy opened the memorial and made it about himself. Used Charlie to refer to himself as America's pastor. Minute 42 in, disgusting. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. Honestly. Talking about this guy. Talking about this guy. It's better in silent. I'm telling you, it's better silent. It's better silent. Hey, give me just 1 second. I got to check something. I can do it and talk at the same time. I just have to get the process going. I will watch that. His soul is ugly and it shows in his facial expression. I can't comment on the man's soul. I cannot comment on the man's soul. What I can comment on is his actions, his speech. And his actions and speech are disgusting. Or ugly. What's the word used? Ugly. But I can't, and his facial expression, I'll give you that. But I can't comment on his soul. That's for the Lord. You haven't heard of Judas Goat. Don't be a square. Catch up on your lingo, Daddy-O. Okay. Duly noted, Daddy-O. Hey, if you call me Daddy-O, you can't tell me to catch up on the lingo. That's from the 70s, bro. Charlie Kirk, Lee NZ. Search from U.S. twice. Yeah, I've heard the Lee, New Zealand theory. Apparently there's a club there called Valhalla or something, and Cash Patel said, see you in Valhalla. I've heard it. Here's the thing, though. If I was going to... Now, you talking about before the shooting or after? Because after the shooting is irrelevant. I mean, someone else could search it. I mean, Charlie was searching it. But if it was before the shooting, if I was going to vacation in Lee, New Zealand, I wouldn't Google search like Baron Coleman, Lee, New Zealand. That wouldn't make any sense to me. I might Google search Lee, New Zealand. Fleeing capture in Lee, New Zealand. Best places to fake death. Where is Jeff Epstein hiding out? D. Rover, $9.99. Judas Goat is the goat that leads the sheep to the slaughterhouse and isn't killed. Oh, is there such a goat? Thank you. Keep on Max Made, Baron. I want that A money. I need to figure out where that A money's coming from. I got to know where to vacation and spend it all. L money. Look out of here. Charlie, 10 minutes in. He's a forensic audio wizard, the Vegas operation. A more in-depth look into Sonic magic tricks and sloppy ops. He made 3 now on YouTube regarding CJ Key shooting. Go Max. I like those forensic shooting videos. Those people are smart. I mean, those people are really smart. Eli Mitchell's article in Israel 365 after CK's death reads like Rob's sermons prior to his death. It's all collusion. I'll check it out. I will check that out. It was I who was allowed the Alliance to know the location of the shield generator. Is the shield generator in the room with us now? Have you seen the Sean Ryan interview with Brian Harpole? It did not help him. It felt weird, like he was lying. I have not. I will, especially now that you guys are saying this. The Sava J.E. Princess. Oh, you donated earlier. Thank you. Thank you twice. Thank you. I'm going to check it out. I'm not going to let that Sean Ryan knew what he was doing booking that guy. I highly recommend watching Wolves and Finances video. That's correct. I will. I have. You will. $10, David Nevin, 7801. Thank you. Super sticker, Jen Dearborn. Thank you. I'm trying to get to this Ian video. Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, Sam Tripoli. Sam Tripoli, that's it. That's the name I couldn't think of. Sam's the one that had me convinced Florida didn't exist. I was so confused. If you like Sam Tripoli, I think you'd enjoy Mark Windows' Tinfoil Hat Show with Sam Tripoli. Okay. I do like Sam Tripoli. He trips me out. I like taking a vacation from reality. Look, I could watch a fantasy movie. I could watch Universal Studios movies or whatever, or what are the superhero movies? The last superhero movie I saw was the original, not the original Batman, but Batman with Michael Keaton, the one from 1989 or 1990. That was the last one I saw. I believe we are being led to the truth. Our hearts are in the right place. God values intention. I hope so. Itty bitty girl. I'm kidding. I know you're from the Bronx. You're still going to do the Bitcoin video. I am, but this video absolutely could not wait. And I'm very sorry, Luban. That's why I tried to pin the comment. I don't know if it's still pinned. Baron, are you using an Ethernet cable for your streams? You keep glitching, but it might be us. No, I'm not. I need to. You guys donate enough, I'll do it soon. I know. And it doesn't help that I have 8 children pulling off the Wi-Fi at the same time. Michael Thomas. How about this? I will invest. We'll get it done. Michael Thomas. You talking about Michael Thomas McCoy? The Mikey McCoy, the general, the amazing Mikey McCoy? You need to go watch this memorial speech in light of what you know now. Very interesting. I will. If there's one thing I am an expert at by now, it is watching Rob McCoy sermons. Thinking I saw a video where Rob McCoy officiated Charlie and Erica's wedding. I think that's accurate. $10 super sticker. Thank you, Crystal. I freaking love you, Crawley R. You have to pay me $2 to say that. But I'm glad you did. Victor Marks is worse than McCoy in running for governor. You should check him out. I have. I've been doing my research, putting a show together. Believe it or not, running for governor of Colorado. That guy is something else. Oh, hold on. Let me switch this one first. My pastor posts his sermon notes for others to use, but not his comments about politics or his dog. Well, then he's not Rob McCoy. Clearly. You're my favorite on YouTube. Love how you can bring humor to each such a tragic situation with your amazing personality. Jamie, you are. I'm a sucker for false flattery. I am. I fall for it every time. It's a documentary that shows the true children of Israel are scattered to the 4 corners, African and black, meaning we have had the wrong Israel. They're mostly converts, worth a watch. I've heard that theory. And I know the Ethiopians, a lot of them have same DNA. Theory, stage death, electroshock, squib, sedative, SUV, private plane, private protective custody, or captivity. Thoughts? I think it's nuts, but people say that about me. You know, people say that about me. Jen Dearborn, thank you. Crawley R, illegal to be nonprofit, non-tax, and speak politics. Not true. Erica must answer for Doge, cancel, and taking Charlie Kirk's decline to money. Let me address the first sentence first. You are allowed to speak politics as a 501c3 nonprofit or church. You are. There are things you can and can't do. And, you know, if you are a 501c3 and want to do more, I suggest you talk to a tax attorney or an accountant. But you're allowed to, or First Amendment lawyer. You are allowed to. That's a misnomer. 40 for the hat. Do I hear 45? 45, 45, 45, 45, 50, 50, 50, 50 in the corner, 50 in the corner. Sorry, Michael Thomas. Wasn't that the name of the sex offender that Rob McCoy was defending and placing in his churches? And Rob McCoy's son, Mikey. Yeah, I think they're the same name. That's weird, actually, the more I think about it. Is that true? They had the same name? Is that true? Is that something I could Google real fast? Rob McCoy, sex offender defense. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, here we go. Rob McCoy placed, this is all allegedly, and is now defending a registered sex offender. Oh, no, I got to, no, that was Thomas Michael Semino. Thomas Michael Semino, not Michael Thomas. I think Mikey's name is Michael Thomas, but I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. Just my opinion, for entertainment purposes only. Come on, what are the odds Trump assassination and Charlie Kirk both have the same storylines? Weird kid, no social media, empty roofs, clear line of sight. And Charlie Kirk's security wasn't publicly shamed and fired. Yeah, that's weird. totally weird. What's normal? The documentary is called Hebrews and Negroes, for all those asking. Okay, I'll allow you to say that word if that's a documentary. Melanie Tanner, $4.99. Great. Now that we know your boy McCott's making dances look like, I just can't unsee that. I'm not going to play it again. Can't unsee what? That thing he did? And the bird dance? Frank McCoy is just simply giving off guilty vibes all the way. He can't preach a sermon to save his hiney. Disgusting. Love the show. Mad respect, Baron. Thank you, Cindy H., for the generous donation. I believe his name is Rob McCoy. Rob reminds me of a used car salesman that would sell a car with a bad engine to his own mom. The main reason I got into the business is to protect car buyers from guys like him. Hey, thank you, Angela K. My parents were in the car business, and there's nothing. I actually sold cars for a while. There's nothing in the world wrong with selling cars. I don't know why the industry gets such a bad rap. Just be honest. Be honest. Be an honest lawyer, be an honest doctor, be an honest car salesman, be an honest plumber, be an honest mechanic, be an honest dentist. These are all industries where people get a bad rap for lying and running up the bill. Don't be that way. Be the good one. Be the good one. Excuse me, I tried to hit the cough button there. When your wife and daughters watched Erica's interview on Fox, what do they say about her? Do they think she is shady? I am not going to speak for them. I'm not going to tell you what they said. They're not on the air. I put myself out here. I know what I'm going to get. I'm not going to speak for them. If they want to open the Real Whatever podcast, they can. The way Charlie Kirk used to talk about out the role of a wife, I do not believe he would have wanted EK to become the CEO. Well, she's not a wife anymore. She's a widow, and that's totally different roles. And I don't know that I heard him talk about the role of a widow. Now, if you're talking about the role of a mother, that's different. But the role of a wife, unfortunately, Melania Vidoni, thank you for the $5, but she is no longer a wife, and that's sad to me. She's young, 36 years old with 2 small kids. The esoteric government is real. The esoteric government is theater. When will we learn the difference? That's awfully nebulous, bro. These are just dangerous folks. Please be careful. Duly noted. I try to be. I wear a seatbelt. I don't walk on icy sidewalks. I chew my food before I swallow it. I'm not suicidal. I try to be careful. I'm trying. UT is for Utah. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle to the max. The 3 greats together will solve this. You, Ian, and Candace. Truth, Target, go max. Look, I'm humbled and honored that you would say my name among those 2 giants. Honestly, that is a fact. I am humbled that you would mention my name among those 2 giants, because I do consider them giants in this industry. So thank you. Tony Collins, $20. Thank you very much for that generosity. How did the amazing coward Mickey McCoy know to walk directly past the SUV he rode therein with Charlie? And whose vehicle did he walk directly to? He had his vehicle to leave in planned ahead of time? It's a good question, because he walked towards a parking lot with relative haste, and he did not come in that way. That I can tell. Now, it's possible he came in early on that and parked in that parking lot and then got in with Charlie and then made the dramatic entrance, but I don't think that's the case. I don't know, but I don't think that's the case. Thank you for the $20. Very generous. Eliza, have you announced your secret research project yet? I have. It's about Bitcoin. Let's have a family discussion here for a second. When I announced that, I might have been told this is a really bad idea. If kind of, what do you think you have? And I kind of shared a little bit. This is a buddy of mine in the game. And when I say game, I mean like politics, high, medium, high level. And his answer was, I don't know that I would do that if I were you. But I'm probably going to do it. Probably going to do it. Ukraine, not corrupt. Bruh. Zammit? That doesn't sound like you. I would love to see you, Candace, Ian, Nate, and Tucker on stage together. Hey, me too. Me too. I would be in awe. I'd be doing this. Be pinching myself left and right. That'd be fun. Melissa B, 1999. Just in case you're not aware, Sean Ryan's next podcast episode includes aware, Melissa B. Thank you. Very generous donation. $20, Cindy Yates. Rob McCoy can't give a sermon to save his hiney. Nothing about it is about God. It's all about politics. Charlie Kirk, he's disgusting. Love the show as always. Much respect for my fellow Middle Tennessean. Welcome home, Cindy Yates. Middle Tennessee's amazing. This is where the Lord would come get a drink of water should he need it. Super sticker, thank you. Our best rooster is named Baron, spelt correctly. I'm not touching that joke, Christy Brown. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I am not going with the rooster joke. It's a family show, ma'am. It's a family show. Super sticker, $4.99. Thank you. Salvage J equals savage. Couldn't use it AG. It was taken. Love it when you go longer than an hour. Have you seen Julie and Dory interview with Elizabeth Lane? I have not. I do like Elizabeth Lane. Sometimes get a weird vibe from her, but she's fun to listen to. The Savage Princess. Now I get it. Thank you. How come you haven't talked about the absurd lack of blood on anybody's clothes or on the ground? I've seen better pictures than you have. Charles McClintock put some new pictures up. I'm not going to show them on here because they're pretty gory. But he put some new pictures up. Charles McClintock Wilson. If you go to his website, I think it's charlesmcclintockwilson.com. You in 2 C's, MCCLINTON. CharlesMcClintockWilson.com, I think is the website. Let me double check that for you while I'm saying. Yeah, CharlesMcClintockwilson.com. There is a new sequence that he put up of after the shooting. And it has some pretty gory images with a lot of blood. So I think you'd be surprised. Did you watch the Sean Ryan? Nope, not yet. Going to. You guys all think the same thing. Notice Mikey Robb was not mentioned in the interview with Brian Harpole. I'm told noticing is anti-Semitic, man. I'm told it's anti-Semitic. You're the best, Baron. 100. What do you suggest we do to keep these people accountable? How can we take action? Don't contact them. Don't harass them. Support the people who are doing the research. So Ian, Dee Dee, me, Candace, Sam Parker, Ryan Mata. I'm going to leave somebody out, so I need to stop naming names. Support these people. You like their videos, like them, subscribe, share them, take clips of them, circulate it, let people know what they're talking about. Generous donations like yours, incredibly generous donations like yours. That is how you support the investigation. And then any research you do that generates something you think is a legitimate lead or tip, share it. Share it on X. Share it on YouTube. Email it to somebody. Get it out there. If it's truly a good tip, it will get going. It will take off. It'll take on a life of its own. Don't contact anyone. Don't go to their house. Don't email them. Don't call them. That's the worst way to support and hold these people accountable. Ian Carroll, $49.99. Listen to you from 30,000 feet, Baron. Best way to pass a flight. Greatest show. No, sir. Your show's amazing. And I'm trying to get to that clip of your show that you played. I'm trying to get to a little clip of it because I want people to see your chat go crazy when you pulled it up on Apple and give them a taste of why I read the transcript tonight instead of played it. Now, these people are being weird, and I don't want any weirdness. So thank you. Very, very generous donation, sir. Christina Chris, $4.99. Do you think Candace's plane info she sent to the feds relates at all to the disappearance of John Cullen? He was on the plane stuff early on. I don't think that at all. I like John Cullen. I've been following John Cullen a long time YouTube subscriber. I mean, I think 8 years or more. Before COVID. I think I got on him on the Vegas stuff. Wolves and Finance, extremely interesting on the financials. Agreed. Great podcast. I like well done, packed full, very dense, informative podcast. It was excellent. Baron, do you have 8 kids with the same woman? Awfully nosy, but yes. Awfully nosy, But yes, thank you very much for your generous donation, MVP. My wife's a true hero. Those were 8 kids. Those were 8 kids, all, I'm probably saying too much here, all done naturally. Well, expelled naturally on the back end. I won't talk about how they got there. But yeah, all birthed naturally. My wife is a true hero, patriot, Christian, godly, loving woman. That is an absolute fact. She has put up with way more than she deserves from your humble host. And she is absolutely superb. We spent the week, not the whole weekend, but we spent 24 hours together, which without kids is hard to do in our lives. We went for a hike this weekend. We went and tried out a new restaurant that just opened in town. Watched a movie that we've been trying to watch. This is not a joke, for like 25 years together. It's one of my very favorite movies of all time. It's called Quick Change. It's a stupid little comedy from the early 90s, late 80s. Bill Murray, Gina Davis, Randy Quaid. Great movie. We got to watch that. I feel a little bit like Rob McCoy right now telling you about my weekend. But yes, 8 kids with the same woman, and she is perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's a gal in the chat called Allie Travels who says she's downloaded the Missing McCoy YouTube video. Do you have already any care to explain how she can send it to you? Thank you, Ian, for that generous donation. Incredibly generous. Allie, baby, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Send that on. What are we waiting on, Allie? Thank you. Thank you, Ian, for that. Yeah, so Allie Travels. Allie's Travels. Send it on. I'll take anything you got. Save me some work. John McGovern was with Charlie and Mikey at the event in Salt Lake City an hour before Charlie was killed. I have proof. Do you want it? Yes. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. In the subject matter, put John McGovern, Salt Lake City. Will you do that for me, good sir? That way I can help it. I'm getting close to like 500 emails a day right now, maybe 1,000 some days. So it helps me to sift through it if you give me very crisp, clean subject matters. And if you send me a link and just say, hey, I think this is interesting, you should check it out, I'm not going to watch it. If you give me a timestamp and tell me what it's about and set it up, maybe I will. Even then, I might not. But if you give me something like that, yes, I'm going to read it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to scan it, whatever it is you say. John McGee on Meta. What happened here? John McGee on Meta lives in Florence, Arizona, on board a Calvary Church, Hong Kong, in UA a lot. I don't think that's the same one. John McGovern, that's not the same one. The one in Meta, that's not the same one. I've seen that one. But he's also with Calvary Chapel. So who knows? Maybe they're related. But that is not the same one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking, that's an old man with gray hair. The one I'm talking about is a young guy, kind of portly, frankly, being honest with you. He could use a workout regimen. He could use a dietitian and a CrossFit coach. Let's just be honest. Awesome stream. Keep up the solid work. You keep up the solid work, Sean from far. Did you see the Sean Ryan preview with Charles Head Security? Yes, saw the preview. Said it's a text message from the Utah Sheriff saying they have the roof covered. Don't believe that's what it said. Don't believe that's what the text message said. Read it again. Steve Calhoun, $4.99. Thank you. Single Man Sam, $4.99. What other reason would you wash away DNA in Butler a day later than if you have DNA of Pew Pewer that doesn't match who they say it matches? I don't know. Maybe the guy who owned the roof didn't want blood all over it. But I agree with you. I mean, I'm being honest. But you asked for another reason, so I gave you one. I take things literally. $10, Hazelless 2025. It's absurd to speak of Jesus Christ and to cherish that Judaism which has come to an end. For where there's Christianity, there cannot be Judaism. I'm not going to comment on it. I told you my position on Christianity and fulfillment theology. And that's as far as I'll go. But thank you for your generous donation, and your message has been sent. Steve Calhoun, any pictures or videos of 4 days prior to the event of people possibly scouting it out? I've had that question. Nor do we have enough video or audio. So here, I'm working on a theory. I'm also getting a cold. I can't tell. I don't know if you can tell that. But I'm working on a theory, and my theory is that the pedestrian bridge on the west side of campus would have been an excellent way to bring a team in without being on camera. That's my theory. You've heard it here. Every other square inch of this campus was covered with cameras. If you wanted to bring somebody in and you didn't want them on camera, you would bring them in over the pedestrian bridge. You would have them get in a car there, and then that camera's already been spotted on campus. It could drive around, and it would not look suspicious at all. That's a theory I'm kicking around in my head. I'll tell you why later. Look forward to all your shows and love the natural humor. Right up there with Ian and Carroll. You both rock. I'd defer to Ian. I think he's great. I've been a big fan. I get a lot of inspiration from him on how I conduct a program. NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. I'll have to check it out. You sound smarter than I am. Inquisitive philomath. See what I'm saying? You're a philomath. Expect me to keep up with your fancy Latin words. Candace and all you bringing things to light should get blue roof shingles. I never miss any of y'all's episodes. That's a DEW reference. I got that. Thank you for the donation. Eli Mercer, please look at the email I sent to you today. I found process diagrams, one from the team members of the attack on Charlie. I'll find it. Oh, please. Now, I will say a lot of you guys tell me you see stuff, and then I look at it and I don't see it. But I will check that out. If you see it and you make a good case, then that would be very, very good time spent. Rob McCoy's son-in-law, James Crawford, is also on the staff at Godspeak, and his sermon is very similar to Rob's about unity. His name's not James. His son-in-law is not James Crawford, is it? His son-in-law is Micah Stevens, I thought. I thought Micah Stevens is the son-in-law on staff at Calvary Chapel at Godspeak. Watching thy podcast from afar, thou dost slay. Thank you, my good sir. Thank you. Afar. Cannot believe people are still saying afar. $20. Thank you. Generous. I simply can't get past the Life is Driving video. It has to be connected, period. You're welcome. You're welcome. All I'll say right now is you're welcome. I cannot tell you how many times I've torn apart that Life is Driving video. Every time I come across a new link on campus, and I'm like, man, I bet that needs to be seen. And then I go back to the Life is Driving video, and I got like still footage of it. Yeah. 8 kids is literally going max. You're telling me, brother. This hat has nothing to do with Charlie. This is about being a father. Thank you for the donation. We'll put it to good use. Baron, max on having the kids. Yes, I do go max. She goes max as well. I mean, that's all I'll say. I'll get in trouble if I say anymore. Oh, gosh. Allie is on mega go max stuff, bro. Great show tonight. Bednars. Are you Blake? Bednars. Blake Bednars is another one that's been breaking incredible stuff. I told you I'd forget somebody. West Texas is the best Texas. Is there a good Texas? Is there a good Texas? James Foster 90 Super. Thank you for the $2. Randomly Tiffany, thank you for the $5. Are we talking about Jesus yet? $20. Not if you're listening to a Rob McCoy pastor sermon. I've never heard Rob McCoy give the gospel. I'll be honest. I am now up in the double digits of sermons I've listened to of his, taking notes. I have not heard Rob McCoy present the gospel of Jesus Christ. Period. I have not. I've heard him talk a lot about Israel. I've heard him read passages of Scripture. I have heard that. I've heard him then talk about those passages of Scriptures about why replacement theology is wrong and young people can't get a job and they're upset and they're blaming it on 18 million Jews. I've heard all that. I've never one time heard Rob McCoy say Jesus Christ lived, died, and was resurrected to save you, to save your sins. I've never heard him say it. If it exists, I haven't seen it yet. I'm working on it. I keep looking over at him like he's right there. Hey, Robbie. He's on my big screen over here. Candace showed a pic of CK from behind with 3 guys over him. Charlie was lying on a box trunk. They never laid him flat on the ground. His head hung off, limp, and nobody was applying care to his neck. I saw that. Not how I would have done it. Charles McClintock Wilson has some really gruesome photos of how they carried him to the car. That's worth seeing. I don't want to show them on air. They're so gruesome. But they carried him. They did not carry him like you think they would. Like, they didn't carry him in a prostrate position. Wait a minute, I got that backwards. They didn't carry him face up. You would think if you were being carried to the car, having been shot here, that you would be carried face up. Like, if I'm gonna, let's say you shoot a deer in the neck, right? And you want to drain all the blood out of it. You hang it by its back feet, so the gravity pulls all the blood into the neck, right? They didn't carry him in a way that would minimize the blood loss from the neck. He was more like face down. You can see his hands flapping. You can see blood. You literally can see blood dripping out of his neck. I'm not going to show him. CharlesMcClintockWilson.com if you want to see him. They are gruesome photos. He's a hell of a photographer, very legitimate photographer. Oh gosh, I got to get through these. Oh, I'm almost done. Good. I was gonna say I got to get to this Ian piece. Wolves and Finance just had the UT. No, I'm glad I watched it. Are you serious? I'm checking that out. For what? For what? It's not up. Is he on X at all? I mean, I guess he may have said some things that sounded defamatory. And he probably got a letter because it's so damning what he said. Man, got to give your opinion, guys. Everything I say on this show is my opinion. That's it. I'm not stating it as fact, just my opinion. Just my opinion. I forgot a message emailed with Rob article. Oh, you emailed me with the Rob article. I got it. You emailed me with the Rob article. That makes sense. All right, let me pull this up. You're going to love this. Let me get past his intro here. All right. So Ian is covering what happened on this program the other day. I'll get to the rest of the supers here in a minute. Ian's covering what happened on this program the other day. And he goes in and he starts showing, I don't have to do the intro where he's covering my stuff because you've already seen that part. So he goes and he starts showing not the video, but he goes to Apple Podcast. You guys were asking me, why don't you just play the audio? Why are you reading it? I'll show you. Watch what happens to him when he plays the Apple Podcast. Watch his chat. This down here at the bottom left, right down here, this is his chat. He puts his chat on the screen. He's nicer than I am. Watch what happens when he presses play on the Apple Podcast. I'll turn the video on I'll turn the audio on in just a second. Oh, there it is. Did you see that? Now, you guys were asking me, hey, why are you not playing the audio? It's up here. It's on his website. It's over there. If you use YouTube links to cover YouTube, there's a certain protection YouTube gives you. It's not technical. It's not promised. But they know how, like what I'm doing to Ian right now. They know how much money YouTube makes when I pull up a popular podcaster like Ian. Oh, I got to tell you something today. This is a great conversation. No, I'm not going to tell you live. Maybe. Talking to somebody today, they're like, something about, oh, I love Ian. And I was like, really? They're like, oh, man, I like love Ian. Like, way love him. I was like, really? They were like, I'm really into tall guys with mustaches. And I was like, well, that's really oddly specific. Like, that's the most specific thing I've ever heard. So, Ian, you got a super fan out there, a super fan out there. But when they put it in there, keep watching. Keep watching. Just look at all the bots going crazy. So there is something going on out there. There is something going on out there with these Rob McCoy sermons. You're covering them on YouTube, they get pulled down. You're covering them on Apple, they get botted. You get a bot attack. That is not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. That is not an accident. He covers what happened on this program where they shut it down in real time. Then he covers on his own program the Apple version and is playing the audio, and the spam bots, almost as soon as he hit play, went absolutely ballistic. Absolutely ballistic. And I just, the only thing I can make of this is it's incriminating. I'm sorry. In my opinion, it's incriminating. It's incriminating. Earlier, I met Rob McCoy. Sermons are on Apple Podcasts, audio and text, and TP gets money from founder of Scientology. Founder of Scientology is dead. Been dead. L. Ron Hubbard. W and F said he made a mistake. Oh, a mistake in the video? Wolves in Finance made a mistake in the video. Is he going to re-upload after he corrects the mistake, I would guess? That's fair. I think that's honorable. If that's true, if that's what happened, that's very honorable. Good for him. Good for him. I took a screenshot during the Sean Ryan podcast with Brian because I could have sworn that guy is from Life and Dry. The guy from Life and Drying was next. Life is Driving was next to the Butch guy. Yeah, Brian Harpole at one point was next to Butch Hibbs. They came in together. Calvary is an anagram for its true purpose. Calvary, a military unit operation created from the infiltration of evangelical churches in order to create a militant support for a Zionist neocon agenda. Do you have evidence of that? Or are you just guessing? Because the guy who founded Calvary Chapel, I gotta lower this because Ian looks like he's staring at me just a little too much. The guy who founded Calvary Chapel had it, and there just weren't that many people around. Then a bunch of hippies started showing up, and all of a sudden he went from a church of like 50 or 60 to, I don't know how many they said he had, 2,000 or 3,000 overnight. And that was the whole Jesus movement thing. So I'm not sure. Wolves in Finance posted an explanation there was an error. Okay, good. And like I said, good for him. If you know you have an error, you correct it. Oh, speaking of, on my last podcast, I had to clip out the video of John MacArthur. And a lot of people emailed asking me what happened. What was that video? What was that? Apparently it had some copyright issue. I couldn't understand the email, so I just took it out. And then I resubmitted it, and they said it was fine. Or I had them recheck it, and they said it was fine. I don't know what the issue was. I don't know if it was John MacArthur or if it was maybe there was a music bed under it or something. I don't know what it was. But I had to take it out to keep it up. So I didn't want to lose the rest of it. So I just cut that part. I say my Tommy or my Massey. Even married, I can still crush. He spent 1 hour with me and daughter on my visit to D.C. 5/10/25. Truly. Are you talking about Thomas Massey? Your pastor? No. I like Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey's a good guy. I don't like what's happening to Thomas Massey and MTG. I'll be honest, I don't like it. They I think I know why it's happening, though. But at least they're not getting the Charlie Kirk treatment, right? They get to go home. Ian's taken. I already tried, but Baron, you, my man, are freaking hilarious. I've heard Ian's taken. Didn't he announce that a few weeks ago? That he's off the market now? I saw that on X. I'm just me. I'm just me, Frenchie. Or you name Frenchie? Are you named after the Grease character? I love that movie Grease, and there's a character named Frenchie in it. Hippies from where and when? The 60s in California. I know Candace is big on that book Chaos. I read that a few years ago. Tom O'Neill's book Chaos. It's probably been 5 years ago now. I read it. And he basically describes California, I don't know if he uses these exact words, but as an open air CIA experiment, the entire state. So it's possible that the hippies from California are infiltrating his movement for whatever reason, and it was by design or whatever. But if you've not read that book, it is dynamite. It actually is extreme dynamite. It is a great, great book. A great, great book. All right. I appreciate you guys. Jesus movement. That's exactly right. I appreciate you guys. Wolves and Finance is still on Didi Got a Podcast. What do you think the Egyptian planes are about? I am waiting on Candace to tell me. I'm waiting on Candace to tell me. I have my suspicions of what they're about. But I'm waiting on her to tell me. She keeps saying she's going to say it, and she's submitted it and all that. I got my thoughts. What do you think they're about, AK? What a hostile name. That's an assault name. All right. I think I've covered everything. Let me look here. Yeah, I covered that. Covered that. Covered that. Covered that. Yep, that's it. Hey, guys. Let me tell you, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We shall go max together. Your support means the world to me. I'll get sappy for a second. A month ago, I had like 300 followers, and I would do live podcasts to like 20 or 30 people. And they got the same experience you're getting. I had a lot of fun on the air, joked, laughed. It is hard. This is a hard business to be in. And you never know when someone influential will pick up your content and spread it far and wide and help you build a base. Ian did that for me. He was the first, I think, to really spread it far and wide. And I'm eternally grateful, truly. But I make the same commitment to you I used to make to them when I only had 10, 20, 30 people signing. I mean, I used to have, if I got 30 people on live stream, I thought I was killing it. Now, if I have fewer than 2,000 or 3,000, I feel like it's empty in here. And it's you guys are great. I mean, you're incredibly generous. You guys make me laugh. Your emails make me laugh. Your chats make me laugh. And I'm glad I can provide a little joy in your life. But let me say this. I make the same promise to you I used to make to them. If I don't have something to say, I'm not coming on the air. And so when you see my notification bell light up, I hope you know I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to try to provide you an innovative take. I can't promise you no one else is covering the same topic. I know Candace, for example, is covering Rob McCoy in Calvary Chapel. And I love her take and her angle. I hope I can provide you a little different angle because no one wants to tune into 10 different shows that all say the exact same thing. That's called cable news. That's what we're getting away from here on YouTube and Twitch and the internet and Rumble and all these other platforms. That's what we're getting away from. You know, we're not Operation Mockingbird. We're not all saying the same thing. We're trying to be different and provide you legitimate information. And you guys are direct supporters. You guys directly support this. So thank you. I hope you know I think Ian does the same thing because I never see his stuff anywhere else. And Candace, frankly, does the same stuff. I never see her stuff anywhere else. And Didi's bringing bomb news here lately. I mean, just killing it. He has earned his stripes. And if you tune in, I hope you're getting a little different spin from everywhere, and I hope that holds true here. That's my commitment to you. I will always bring you something original. Someone asked me in an email, do you write your own monologues, or does someone write those for you? I write every word of this show. I meticulously form those monologues by hand. It takes time. And I have them written out several episodes in advance, and then I'll kind of pick and choose or not manipulate, but change them a little bit based on what I'm covering that day. But I hope again, I might be boring you to tears, but what I'm trying to do is just give you an idea of what this show's about, because a lot of you are meeting me this month for the first time, and I hope you hang around a long time. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So, in the meantime, I'm going to get some bed. I got to get up early. My alarm's going off early. I have to be up and at 'em well before 5 o'clock tomorrow. So. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have. Go Max, people. I'll see you again on probably Wednesday.